While there aren't any women on the list of the top 10 richest people in the world, there's no denying some women have been making huge fortunes all over the world. This year's richest list features 328 women, which is up from 241 last year. Women as a whole are worth $1.53 trillion, which is nearly a 60% increase over the past year, adding $570.7 billion to their wealth. Today, we'll tell you about the top 10 current richest women in the world. Number 10. Suzanne Clanton, $22.9 billion. Germany. German billionaire heiress Suzanne Clanton is the daughter of Herbert and Johanna Quandt, the former being a German industrialist who is known for saving luxury vehicles company BMW from the point of bankruptcy. Thanks to BMW's recovery from a slump earlier in the pandemic, $10.9 billion was added to Clanton's fortune. The company also reported nearly $119 billion in revenues in 2020, while its stock price increased more than 93% since mid-March 2020. The BMW heiress inherited a 12.50% stake following her father's death, which now totals to 19.2% after her mother's passing in 2015. Besides her wealth from the German car maker, she also inherited her late father's 50.1% stake in pharmaceutical and chemicals manufacturer Atlanta. A businesswoman with stakes in many industries, Clanton owns 19.2% of BMW as well as stakes in SGL Group, a carbon and graphite producer, and Nordics AG, a wind power company. She also helped transform Atlanta AG, founded by her grandfather, into a cutting-edge pharmaceutical and specialty chemical corporation. Clanton currently owns Atlanta AG and serves as its deputy chairwoman. Number 9. Iris Fontbona, $23.6 billion, Chile. After falling out of the list in 2020, Chilean billionaire Iris Fontbona is rejoining the list of top 10 richest women this year. Fontbona is the widow of Andronico Lusic, who served as the chairman of Quinenco, a holding of Lusic Group, one of Chile's largest conglomerates. Fontbona also owns a majority stake in Quinenco. But other than that, she and her children control Chilean mining company Antofagasta, which reported $5.1 billion in sales in 2020. Iris Fontbona and her 3 sons currently own the mining and beverage empire formerly owned by her husband, Andronico Lusic, prior to his death in 2005. Fontbona and her children run Antofagasta plc, a mining company with copper mines in Chile, and possesses a majority stake in Quinenco, a Chilean firm which dabbles in banking, beer, and manufacturing. Number 8. Abigail Johnson, $25.3 billion, USA. CEO of Fidelity Investments since 2014, Johnson has also been chairman of the company's board since 2016. She has a 24.5% stake in the firm and has embraced the cryptocurrency market, launching a platform that allows investors to trade Bitcoin and Ether. Robinhood Markets has snared most of the attention for attracting an army of day traders during the pandemic, but far bigger profits are flowing to the family behind Fidelity Investments in Boston. Operating income reached a record $7.2 billion in 2020, and the number of retail accounts jumped 17% to 26 million. That helped increase the wealth of Chief Executive Officer Abigail Johnson by $3.3 billion to $26.5 billion, making her the world's 8th richest woman. Johnson, along with her father Ned, brother Ned IV, and sister Elizabeth, own almost half of Fidelity's parent company, FMR LLC. The latest results pushed their combined fortune to about $60 billion, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, a ranking of the world's 500 wealthiest people. Johnson, 59, has served as CEO since 2014, when she took over from her father. Fidelity, which manages $3.8 trillion in discretionary assets, makes up the majority of the family's wealth, though they've diversified with investments in Texas shale, technology startups, commercial real estate, and European telecom. The family also owns a stake in investment manager Fidelity International, where assets under management rose 85% to $706.3 billion from last March through December. Number 7. Gina Rinehart, $27.6 billion, Australia. Rinehart rebuilt her father's Lang Hancock mining company, Hancock Prospecting, and became Australia's richest citizen. Apart from mining iron ore, Rinehart also has a number of ranches across Australia, making her the country's third largest cattle producer. Australian mining magnate and heiress, Gina Rinehart is also Australia's richest person. She currently serves as the executive chairman of Hancock Prospecting, a privately owned mining and agricultural company that her father, Lang Hancock, founded. The company was affected during the pandemic, but have since been recovering, which helped boost Rinehart's estimated 77% stake in the company. Number 6. Yang Huyan, $28.6 billion, China. Yang Huyan is the only one from Asia and the youngest billionaire to make it to this list. She owns about 58% of China-based real estate company, Country Garden Holdings. Yang Huyan became an instant multi-billionaire in 2007 when her father transferred 70% of his holdings to her before taking Country Garden Holdings public in Hong Kong. She was only 25 then. In 2018, she reportedly made $2 billion in 4 days when Country Garden shares surged in the first 4 days of the year. Yang Huyan is currently the company's largest shareholder, owning 57% of its shares. Yang also chairs Bright Scholar Education Holdings, a Chinese education company that went public on the New York Stock Exchange in 2007. Number 5. Jacqueline Badger Mars, $41.1 billion, USA. Granddaughter of Frank Mars, founder of Mars, Inc., which brought us such delicious treats as Snickers and the iconic Mars bars, Jacqueline Badger Mars currently owns around a third of the company. She worked for the company for almost 20 years, serving on its board of directors till 2016. Mars is a prominent philanthropist and is on 6 boards, including that of the National Archives of the Smithsonian. Number 4. Mackenzie Scott, $53.5 billion, USA. Formerly married to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, Scott has a 4% stake in the e-commerce company, which she receives as part of the divorce settlement between her and Bezos. Following the divorce settlement, Scott signed the Giving Pledge, donating almost $1.7 billion to 199 nonprofit groups by July 2020. Scott gave away $5.8 billion in grants to more than 500 nonprofit organizations across the U.S., which supports various causes from racial equity, public health, and LGBTQ+ rights. This makes her the biggest philanthropist of the pandemic. At the time of writing, she has just announced her marriage to Lakeside School science teacher Dan Jewett. Number 3. Alice Walton, $57.6 billion, USA. The only daughter of Walmart's founder, Sam Walton, Alice Walton, opened the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in Bentonville, Arkansas, featuring artists such as Norman Rockwell and Andy Warhol. In 2020, Walton criticized America's health system and revealed plans for the opening of the Whole Health Institute and Chopra Medical Library in her hometown. Walton is the daughter of Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, and the heir to its fortune. During the pandemic, the company's stock rose more than 5% since mid-March 2020. They then launched free delivery as part of an Amazon Prime-like membership program. This helped boost online sales much as 69%. According to Forbes, Alice has focused on curating art rather than working for Walmart like her siblings Rob and Jim. A decade ago, she opened an art museum in her hometown of Bentonville, Arkansas. The Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art includes work from Andy Warhol, Norman Rockwell, and Mark Rothko, according to Forbes. Crystal Bridges was the first major art museum in the U.S. since 1974 and has since amassed a notable collection, including works from Andy Warhol, Norman Rockwell, and Mark Rothko. In 2017, Walton founded the nonprofit foundation Art Bridges, which aims to provide greater access to American art through the country. Number 2. Julia Flesher Koch and Family, $61.1 billion. USA. Julia Flesher Koch moved to New York from Iowa to work as an assistant to the renowned fashion designer Adolfo during the 1980s. She met her husband David Koch in 1991 and got married in 1996. The duo have made large donations to Mount Sinai Medical Center and Stanford's Children's Hospital to study food allergies. Following her husband's passing in 2019, Koch and her 3 children inherited his 42% stake in Koch Industries. Koch Industries, America's largest private company per revenue last year. Koch serves on the board of directors of the billion-dollar conglomerate, while David's older brother Charles serves as chairman. Number 1. Francois Bettencourt Myers, $73.4 billion. France. Better known as heiress to the L'Oreal empire, Francois Bettencourt Myers inherited the title after her mother's, Lily Lane Bettencourt, passing in 2017. Her family owns 33% of L'Oreal stock, which reported a phenomenal growth over the past decade. Bettencourt, the granddaughter of L'Oreal's founder, served on the company's board since 1997 and is also president of her family's philanthropic foundation, supporting French progress in the sciences and arts. While the cosmetic giant's profits fell 6% in 2020 due to the pandemic, the stock still rose to 38% a year after. She donated $266 million to repair Notre Dame in Paris after a fire severely damaged it. Bettencourt Myers occupies the 13th position among the richest persons in the world. Bettencourt Myers had a fraught relationship with her mother. She filed a criminal complaint against the elder Bettencourt's closest friend for trying to manipulate the elderly heiress out of the family fortune. Despite being born into a life of luxury, Bettencourt Myers preferred playing the piano and riding to glitzy parties, Vanity Fair reported. Bettencourt Myers also serves as president to her family's foundation, the Bettencourt Schuler Foundation. This charity provides grants to encourage French advancement in both the science and arts. So, let us know in the comments which one of those boss ladies inspires you the most. Please subscribe to The Luxury World. Thanks for watching.